What are some of the biggest scams to have happened in history? 2 weeks to flatten the curve. We used our homeowner's insurance to cover a medical expense for our nanny who got hurt on the job. The insurance company did everything they could to avoid liability, but accepted that they were on the hook for the MedPay part of the policy. So they said they would cover the MedPay limit of $1,000 for treatment that would easily exceed $6,000 to $7,000. We did a deep dive to get our policy details, which was stupidly way harder than it ever needed to be, surely by design, and saw that the MedPay limit was in fact $10,000. We pointed that out and the insurance company dude said, "Oh, looks like I accidentally missed a zero there," and we were like, "Yeah, fucking right, you pricks are straight up lying to our faces to escape 90% of your liability. Absolutely shameful." I love insurance. One time my dentist was like, "Hey, you need a cleaning really bad. Let me just submit a request to your insurance," and I was like, "Oh okay, I'm sure that won't be a problem at all since healthy teeth are incredibly detrimental to the overall health of the human body," but then my insurance said, "Oh sorry sweaty, we actually can't cover your cleaning because you can just use a toothbrush for that." So I called my dentist and he said, "Oh, we can do it out of pocket then. It will be about $3,000 up front. No payment plans." It's been 4 years. I still haven't gotten my cleaning. Have you ever sat and thought what a great thing it would be if insurance always paid out properly and like it said it would? If like, the dentist insurance I have that says I have $5,000 a year available actually covered things I needed done and not something I will never need done? What if there were no copays that empty out our wallets of that extra little bit of cash we were going to use to buy that thing we've been needing but didn't buy because what if, what if you have an accident? I know we can't get rid of the insurance companies, but damn, can you imagine if they were made to pay out how much better things would be? When gold miners Arnold and Slack in 1872 tricked some bankers into buying a fake diamond mine. Another was when conman Count von Lustig managed to sell the Eiffel Tower to a Parisian scrap dealer for $700, which be equal today to $1 million. Arnold and Slack, the great diamond hoax, the man who sold the Eiffel Tower. But. Comment copied from https://www.reddit.com/r/askreddit/what_is_the_biggest_scam_in history/cqj24gv. For-profit colleges, especially ITT Technical Institute. Tuition for a 2-year, non-transferable degree is nearly $50,000. I taught there for almost 3 years. The horror stories stunned and saddened me. I went there. I felt bad for the teachers, actually, because you could tell that they wanted to teach so much more than the curriculum and seemed to know we weren't learning what we really needed to know. You guys got scammed almost as bad as us students. But thank you for trying. ITT got shut down, and fun fact, if you went to school there then you were eligible to get your loans forgiven because they, along with a few other schools, were considered fraudulent and predatory. This was finalized in the last year or so as far as I know. I got nailed by one of these. It wasn't like I didn't do my research either. My mistake was trusting the government. I did searches and read up on their profile on the BBB. I figured if the BBB was rating them highly, I could trust the college. I knew something was up after the first term or two. I tried to take a break to reevaluate things and I was pretty stressed, and they came after me hard for what I owed so far. Worse, they came for my mother since she'd signed for a Parent Plus loan. My only option was to go back to the school for a reduced payment or be on the hook for everything. Sure, I could have fought it, but I didn't have any money. I did the online college because of lack of options in my location. That's how they nailed people like me living in poorer regions of the country. So I got my BA in business that wasn't worth the paper it was printed on, and within about 2 months after I graduated the government finally shut the college down. But it wasn't until about 3 months ago that I got word my loan was being fully disbursed, but then got notice that due to litigation brought on by Republicans that my loans were now in limbo. I have no idea where they are now. Not that it matters. I'm disabled now and they will never get that $40K from me no matter what. I went to a for-profit college, the Art Institute. Just the other week I got approved to have my federal loans cancelled. I applied for the Borrower's Defense in 2018. Ironically, there's been little to no media coverage that they're cancelling like $6 billion in student loans. Pretty fucking psyched. Now if I can only get my private loans taken off. Bottled water. Research suggests that for most Americans, the stuff in a bottle is not better for you than the stuff in your tap. In fact, a recent report found that almost half of all bottled water is actually derived from the tap, but may be further processed or tested for safety. 300% profit for a natural resource in plastic bottle. If a school has a commercial, I automatically don't trust it. Nestle pays $1, total, per year to bottle public water in the Sierra Nevada mountains in California. Their permit is valid even during severe drought periods. They're bottling up the public's water and selling it to them. I'll only buy bottled water if local water is undrinkable or if I'm extremely desperate. Bottled water is one of the biggest scams in human history. Edit. I decided to fact-check myself. Nestle actually pays $2,100 per year for their permit. According to their website, they use 703 million gallons of water a year for bottled water. So for a 12-ounce bottle they spend 0.00003 cents on water. In my town, since the 50s there are public fountains to provide free water to the whole town. The system used requires almost no maintenance. Basically it captures the water from the rain and filters it through sand and rocks, then it goes into deposits. When completely full it can provide water for 2 full years without rain. To further reference, it uses a system used in old houses in Portugal, called cisterna, that captures rainwater and filters it. It's basically a well but slightly different. Then the system was adapted to a much bigger scale. Back when it was projected, the national government thought it would be a bad idea to use rainwater to water consumption. When it was finished, the water was tested and considered excellent, which still is. What gets me too is water filters for tap water. It's been proven that unless they are replaced very often, they are actually pretty bad for the water. My GF insists on using one but doesn't replace the filter like, ever. I know a dude who imports these filters and every time we talk about it, he laughs and says it's one of the dumbest things he is able to make money off. People pay for this shit so they can fuck up their water, then they come back and get more. People, man. Years ago, we asked our pediatrician if we should buy nursery water to mix our baby's formula or if tap water was okay. She said to use tap water, that she knew what was in the tap water in our area and did not know what was in the bottled water. Then, she started rattling off the requirements for safe tap water, so many ppm of this and that. Did not need to tell me twice. My only retort is the convenience factor. Yes, I know there are reusable containers and all of that. But even then you are paying a premium for something that only holds a set amount. The Bre-X mining scandal. A Canadian mining company claimed that they had found 200 million troy ounces of gold, that would be worth $257 billion today, in Indonesia in 1993. At their height the company was valued on the Nasdaq stock market at $6.9 billion, adjusted to 2018 with inflation. The geologist who reported the 200 million troy ounces of gold was shaving his wedding ring into the drill core samples and making it look like all of the cores had an incredible amount of gold in them. Eventually in 1997, another big mining company that was looking to acquire Bre-X did some due diligence and found that not only did their drills not detect any gold, but that the gold flecks in Bre-X's drill samples were angled and sharp unlike flecks of gold that would be produced naturally. They concluded Bre-X were salting their samples. Company got exposed as a fraud. The geologist who shaved his ring and made hundreds of millions off of selling stock reportedly committed suicide after he was found out. His reported method of suicide was jumping out of an Indonesian military helicopter, and magically his hands, feet, and penis were surgically removed and the body was unrecognizable. Yeah, this guy definitely didn't pay off the Indonesian military to fake his own death. Lawsuits hit the company that went bankrupt almost overnight. The CEO fled to the Bahamas, had his house broken into by masked gunmen who threatened to shoot him unless he turned over the money he owed them. He apparently died of a brain aneurysm 3 weeks after the break-in. There is a movie about it that came out in 2016 with Matthew McConaughey, and now we have a lot more regulations and requirements for mining companies in Canada that want to be listed on stock exchanges and go public. Insurance. The basic concept is sound. Major events can be debilitating as they require massive payments in short amounts of time. If you spread those around between people, and, effectively, over long periods of time, it's not so debilitating. In practice, it's a giant, legalized scam. You pay money for a promise and the people making the promise do their best to deny you if and when you need to collect. The fact that insurance companies are for-profit institutions is a dead giveaway. If they were non-profits, maybe they'd be functioning institutions. Maybe.